In this episode, we discuss how to get around using the Los Angeles Freeway System. So if you're wondering how you could get from the valley to the beach in 30 minutes, then you'll love this episode of the Los Angeles Podcast. Hello, I'm Joe Copeland, a lifetime resident of Los Angeles, and I love carpool lanes.
Hello, and I'm Jay Guzman, also a native of LA and a professional bumper car driver.
All right.
You should see my car. It's got all kinds of damage.
Before we get started, I'd like to let our listeners know that more information on loving, living, and working in Los Angeles can be found on our website at thelosangeles.podcast.com.
We'd also like to mention that you can also stream and download the Los Angeles Podcast on your favorite podcast apps, such as Apple Podcast and Google Podcast. Search for us by typing the Los Angeles Podcast or our names, Joe Copeland or Jay Guzman.
And we'd like to thank our show supporters at Patreon. To become a patron and get show extras such as the weekly bonus show and special members-only blog and videos, head on over to the LosAngelesPodcast.com/support.
Also, we just recorded our bonus episode, and in the show, we discuss topics like Netflix, again, what our frustrations are living through this COVID virus, and a few other interesting topics that hopefully you'll find amusing.
All right, well, let's get on to our main topic. Summertime is coming, and we need to get around to have fun. So we thought we'd talk about the best way to get around Los Angeles, and that's using the freeway.
Oh, yeah, the good old freeways.
The freeways are free, and you get what you pay for.
and it keeps getting better because people are always talking about, now we're going to, tax people or charge people to use more freeways. I'm like, what the hell? The deal was we were going to all pay our taxes with the expectation that they'll always be free, but now they're threatening some surcharge or some kind of pass that you need to have to drive as we go forward into the future. Yeah,
that's a good point. They do have some freeway lanes that you do have to pay to use. So it's not all free anymore. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
They are tollways, and that system is called the Fast Pass or Fast Track.
Yeah.
And it's a little device that you put on your car, and it allows you to use those lanes under certain circumstances. Now, some lanes, I think on the 91 freeway, the Artesia freeway, in order to use the fast track lanes any time of day, you got to pay. But on other freeway lanes, such as the 10 freeway or the 110 freeway, you only pay during certain times and under certain conditions, such as, let's say the carpool lane normally is 2 people, you can ride for free. But during rush hour, you got to have 3 people. And if you don't have 3 people, well, then you got to pay to use the lane. And it's not that expensive necessarily. It might be $1, for a few miles, which seems kind of pricey, but, that might save you an hour's worth of your time. So it's kind of worth it there.
And that's the problem with LA traffic. Typically, there's a lot of backups and slowdowns, and those fast track lanes are just moving really well. So it's worth it if you do have that, ability to get on that fast track pass.
Yeah, I remember when they first built the double fast track lanes on the 10 freeway, headed east and west, and I would head east to go home. I lived in Rosemead at the time, and that is probably the second most congested freeway in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was new, people didn't know how to use the system, right? So nobody was using it but me. And, I had the little transponder, and, I'd pay a little bit to use it.
Yep.
But I felt like a king, like I had my own lane all to myself.
You're so special.
It was great. That probably went on for a good 2 years before people started to say, well, maybe it's okay to pay a $1, to take this lane home and save myself all this bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yeah. I know that there's like a lot of good portions of the town that you want to get to and commute to quickly, and you probably have like a preference for what freeways that you're more comfortable taking. One of the ones that I always enjoy taking is the 134. from the 405 over to the 101 or even all the way to the 5, it's surprisingly not as congested whenever I need to jump on that particular freeway. But yeah, the freeways are very fast paced, and you got to be a very competent driver. If you're visiting LA, you cannot be the type of person who's going to be like slow and cautious, and you got to like accelerate to change your lanes and, you know, show a little gumption, you know, otherwise you're going to get pushed off the freeway because people here are not patient. They'll honk at you for anything.
I'm one of those slow, patient drivers, so I'm being honked at a lot.
Yeah. Especially if you're driving a Prius, you got to, you know, really catch up because Priuses are like slow.
Well, that's my excuse. You know,
Yeah.
I'm driving a Prius. I'm not in that, you know, fancy muscle car of yours.
Yeah, that 12-cylinder truck.
I'm just an old guy. You know, I just play the part like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm totally ignorant. But, you know, I just like to drive safe and give myself plenty
Yeah.
of room in front of me. You know, to give you an idea of how safe I drive, I went 150,000 miles on the original brake pads from the dealer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
impressive.
I didn't even have to change them out. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
That's
You
because
started
I
liking them.
don't step on the brakes very much. I just coast and
Yeah.
cruise, and I'm kind of proud of that fact. But I'm sure a lot of youngsters that want to speed around me. I mean, I do drive fast, believe it or not. I mean, I'll drive 80, 90 plus miles an hour on the freeway as long as
Yeah.
I feel safe doing it. I'm not going to do that during rush hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the freeways are actually really good in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know, they do all their construction work during the graveyard hours. So in
Yeah.
the daytime, no work goes on. It moves very fast. You know, as much as people complain about LA traffic, the freeways actually do move pretty good. And
Yeah.
the state of California does a magnificent job designing their freeways and maintaining them and keeping traffic moving. You know, they got some good services. The Metro Freeway Service Patrol, that thing is awesome. That's been around for like 25, maybe
Yeah.
30 years. I remember Mayor Tom Bradley instituted that.
Oh, that's right.
Now, if you don't know what the Freeway Service Patrol is it's a fleet of tow trucks. Their job is just to drive the freeways, okay, all day long.
Yeah.
And if there's any reason why anybody stopped on the freeway, that truck just pulls them off right away.
Yeah.
And the rule is nobody will be stranded on the freeway for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that probably about 3 times because, like a dummy,
Yeah.
I've run out of gas
Oh, no.
on the freeway. And before I could, you know, call a friend
Yeah.
or get AAA to come over, bam,
guy
within
was there.
minutes, there's that tow truck, you
Yeah.
know. I think what happens is people driving on the other side of the freeway radio the guy coming on the other side
Yeah.
of the freeway, hey, there's a idiot Prius over there. He probably ran out of gas, okay? They come by.
He's like, not that guy again.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
helped them 2 other times.
And I'm really appreciative because, you know how it is when
Yeah.
you run out of gas on the freeway,
yeah,
right?
it's,
It's so stupid.
Who carries an extra gas container anymore?
Yeah, well,
You know-
these guys do.
Yeah, the tow
Yeah.
trucks should, but a regular person normally wouldn't, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up, because one of my friends worked for that group and he had a split schedule. He worked like 4 hours in the morning, then he'd go home in the middle of the day, have a healthy break, and then come back in the afternoon. And they're constantly covering the freeways, and he's just doing circles on his path, his little route. And yeah, they're quick to push you off. If you have an immediate problem, you know, they can help you coordinate and get other help to get you off the freeway as quick as possible. So that's really neat.
Yeah, I remember the days before the FSP, the Freeway Service Patrol. If someone got stuck on the freeway because they ran out of gas,
Yeah.
they'd be in the middle of the freeway,
Yep.
you know, for hours
With their
till
blinkers on. Yeah.
yeah, until a highway patrol came by and
Yeah.
then called a tow truck, and you know who knows how long that's going to take,
Yeah.
right? Because now traffic is backed up for miles, right?
Yeah. You're the guy that made it all happen there.
And they can't get to you because they're stuck in traffic as well.
Yeah. And then I drive by, I'm like, thanks, moron, you know, for messing it up.
So, you know, there's a show on Saturday Night Live, for those of you that maybe don't know what that show is. It's like a comedy show that's been on NBC for a good 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And they have a skit that's been going on for years called The Californians. And the whole running joke is the freeway system, how many freeways we have.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get to anywhere in LA, you're going to take 4 freeways.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny just to go shopping.
It's like a mathematical formula.
I mean, like to get from to here to Studio City. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to take the 118 to the 5 to the 170. Okay,
and then transition to 134.
Then the 134. There you go.
Yeah. Exit at Pass or wherever you're gonna. Yeah. I agree.
So, the freeway system is complicated. Actually, Jerry Seinfeld had a big old comedy skit with the freeways.
Funny.
You remember hearing that one?
I never heard it.
Yeah, he, obviously he's been to LA because he tells this joke about where he's in that Studio City area, where he's on the 5, then it's the 134, then it turns into the 170. You know what I'm saying? When you're on the Ventura Freeway, it's like, well, wait a minute. I was on the 170 and now I'm on the 134. Then it turns into the 101, right? How confusing is that?
Yeah. I know if you're blinking or not paying attention to the signs, next thing you know, you're on the wrong freeway and you didn't even know. Yeah, it's very easy to get confused.
Yeah. So anyways, we thought we'd share some tips on using the freeway system. So let's say you want to go from Simi Valley to Pomona. You got many ways of getting from point A to point B, but tell me how you would get there and the reasons why you chose that path over another path.
Yeah. I think I would take the 118 to the 210 because it would geographically seem more direct. And generally the 210 is pretty good up until you get to Pasadena when it, gets a little thick. But depending on the time of the day, it might be advantageous to stay on the 210. But other times, the 10 freeway, which is parallel going east to west with the 210 east to west, or even the 60 could be advantageous. It's weird that particular region has 3 freeways all going east to west, relatively close to one another and parallel. But I would take that to Pomona. Any one of those would be good. The 10 has a lot of elevation where you can sort of see the neighborhoods as you're driving by. It's not elevated or sunk below. The 210's above everything, so you can see the skyline and the canopies, and you sort of like feel elevated over everyone. But the 210's a little lower to the ground, so you can see like neighborhoods as you're jamming through there.
Yeah, and the 210 runs alongside the San Gabriel Mountains there, so it's a prettier drive.
Right.
Yeah, versus going down the 10, it's, right in the heart of the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah.
Here, I'll share a tip for you, for the listeners, my secret tip on how you could get from the valley to Redondo Beach the fastest way possible. Now, most people would look at the map and say, well, you want to take the 405. The 405 runs along the beach communities there. Yeah. That's the way to do it. Well, that is the absolute worst way you can get to the beach in the summertime. I'll tell you that, because that's the way I used to go, because it seemed like that's the only way, Why would you travel inland to go to the beach, right? Well, once I lived in Torrance, I found out that the best way to get from the valley to the beach is to take the 110 freeway, which runs through downtown Los Angeles. And then it curves in and actually intersects with the 405. And right around there is 190th Street.
Yes.
You take 190th Street, which is a very wide boulevard that moves very fast. And you just take that, and that T-bone's right there into King
Redondo.
Harbor.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that's the best way.
Okay, yeah, I do agree. The 110 is usually less crowded.
Yeah, well, I think it's less crowded because in the summertime, everyone's taking the 405. So they're not thinking about taking the 110.
Yeah.
Okay, so you asked me a question, point A to point B, and how I would get there.
All right. So if you're, let's say, in the Hollywood area and you wanted to get to Long Beach, obviously Long Beach would be a straight shot down the 110. But a lot of people want to travel to the beach areas. What would you take if you're like, let's say in the Hollywood area, if you wanted to get to Santa Monica or presumably Venice or something like that?
Oh, okay. I thought you said to Long Beach, because
initially
to go to Long Beach, there's 3 ways to get there. You could take the 405, the 110 to the 405, or the 710.
Yeah.
But if I'm in Hollywood and I want to get to let's say Santa Monica,
Yeah.
actually the easiest way for me is to take Santa Monica Boulevard straight, because that dead ends right there at the Santa Monica Pier, right?
Yeah.
That's a decent way. You get to drive through, the west side over there, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, all
Yeah.
that. It is quite crowded. Maybe I take another surface street like Olympic Boulevard, maybe Pico. I got to think here. If I'm in Hollywood, I want to go to the beach. To Santa Monica, that's really the only way to get there. Yeah, unless I wanted to head north to the Ventura Freeway, then back south on the 405. That's an option. Or actually, I could cut down to the 10 freeway and take the 10 all the way to Santa Monica. That takes you over to the pier as well, and in Venice there. So those are options, but it's all dependent on the time of day.
Yeah, where you're coming from and going to.
Yeah, the time of day and what day it is. Normally, the freeways are the best way to go because you never stop at a light.
Yeah.
So if it's like on a weekend and, you got light traffic, I'd probably head on down to, I'd head south on one of those boulevards like, I don't know, Highland or La Brea or something, intersect the 10, then take the 10.
Yeah.
But if, it's rush hour, I don't know. I would totally avoid going from Hollywood to Santa Monica during rush hour. Even taking the surface streets is a pain. But I think to answer your question, I tend to like to kind of space out when I'm driving. So I would take the 10 freeway, even though it's probably crawling at 15 miles an hour, because I can relax, really. I don't have to
be on edge trying to anticipate a turn or a...
going through intersections because people are going to, turn in front of you. The light's yellow. Should I go straight and sit here for, a few minutes, or should I gun it but risk my life because someone else wants to cross? I don't like to deal with all that stress. So I'll just take the freeway and, listen to the radio or some podcasts or something.
That is one of my frustrations when I use Google Maps, which is my preferred mapping tool. I usually find a location, whether I already know the address or I need to just zoom in, pinch in to find it. Google Maps loves to make the fastest route the primary route, but I don't always take that alternative because sometimes it does force you to exit early, take a surface street, cross intersections. So I tend to pull back and then look for the more consistent, like you said, laid back way where I can just sort of zone and just cruise on one lane or in one particular freeway. And even if it takes 2 minutes longer, it's still worth it, like you said.
Yeah, I know. I'll notice that. I know how to get from point A to point B, and Google Maps will have me going through all these crazy neighborhoods, right? And you're thinking, well, Google knows, right? It is faster, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the alternative routes, I would have saved a minute, but I added, or let's say I reduced my lifespan 10 minutes because of that crazy drive through all these neighborhoods and sharp turns.
Yeah. And the other cool thing about Google is that if you deviate and you don't even follow what it recommended, it'll figure it out as you're going. It'll recorrect and give you new suggestions to plan your drive. But I do rely on Google Maps a good bit for commuting and considering alternative ways to get there.
Yeah, Google's really good. Have you ever used Waze?
I tried Waze, but that was worse. Talk about, turning into neighborhoods and making weird zigzags just to avoid a light, for one more minute. That I think Waze is the worst offender of those scenarios.
Actually, I did a test, I had my Garmin GPS, Google Maps, and Waze, right? And I wanted to see, which one consistently was more accurate because, they'll give you an ETA, right?
Yeah.
And there was a time where I'm, going from Rosemead to Porter Ranch, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And I found Waze to actually be consistently the most accurate.
Wow.
And the reason why Waze is a bit different is there's a lot of social interaction in real time, okay? Whereas Google kind of knows based on, I guess they're spying on everybody's phones, how fast they're driving. But with Waze, people are communicating, they'll tell you, hey, there's a cop over here, which I find actually very valuable.
That is impressive.
Yeah, that saved me a lot. And Waze actually yells it out,
Yeah.
Police up ahead, right? And
Yeah.
so I slow down, I look, and sure enough, there is a cop
Yeah.
hiding behind that wall. Okay. And the only reason that exists is because somebody else saw the cop and they make it really easy. You don't have to type, you just push a button.
Yeah.
So as you're driving, you push that button.
It knows the vicinity you're at.
It knows exactly where you're at.
Wow.
So you could also put those little icons on the road. So you got police, you got obstacles, accidents.
Yeah.
Things going on the side of the road, vehicles stopped on the side of the road. So it's pretty good, I mean, they're all way better than looking at a map, that's for sure, driving blind.
Yeah. I know, and I can't imagine if you're not from California or if you're not from this, part of the world, acclimating to driving in our busy freeways would intimidate anyone, and no doubt you'd want to do an Uber instead.
Yeah. I mean, the freeways can be frustrating for a newbie, but once you learn how to use the freeways, then
You're empowered.
You find it's really not that bad. I'm on the freeways every day for various reasons, and I get from point A to point B, pretty quick because I kind of know through, experience, which is the best way to go for me. I mean, not only does it, maybe it's the fastest way, but it's also the most comfortable way. Mm-hmm. Like right now, to get from here to downtown LA, there's 2 ways you could get there primarily. Yeah. I'm curious, which of those 2 ways do you normally take?
I always prefer the 101. It's just more of a direct route.
Me too. Yeah. The 5 moves faster, but it's kind of it's like a longer route. It moves faster. It'll get you there faster, but it feels
more
like
miles too.
You're stressing yourself out, and plus, it just seems to be a bumpier freeway. And I don't like my car kind of lifting off the road because I'm afraid of, losing control. You know what I'm talking about? When you don't have good springs or good shocks and you're kind of going up and down like, you're a boat on the ocean.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of what I feel like with the 5 freeways.
Freeway surfing.
Yeah. And they're doing a lot of construction work there right now, and it'll be going on for another 5 years, and then they'll start it all over again. Yeah. We'll put another lane in there.
Yep. No, that's funny. I agree. The 101 is just seemingly more direct. It's a shorter distance. And there's some slowdowns, but oftentimes, those pockets of slowdowns, they're not very long. It's just like maybe a half a mile's worth of traffic, and then it opens up again suddenly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing on the other side. It's just, for some reason, they just slow down.
Yeah. It's a comfortable, consistent drive.
Yeah.
Not kind of like, everyone's going 80, and then they're slowing down to 20, and then they're speeding up again to 80 again. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like steady and slow. I'm the turtle.
Gets you there quick.
Yeah, I eventually get there.
That's good.
So let's see. We talked a little bit about carpool lanes. In case you don't know a lot of the freeways, not all of them. The 405 now has a carpool lane. Mm-hmm. The 118 has a carpool lane, pretty much from the 5 to Simi Valley. Mm-hmm. The 110 has carpool lanes. The 10 has carpool lanes. The 210 doesn't. The 14 freeway has a carpool lane as well, right?
The cool thing with the carpooling going up the 14 is that it's directional, and it's only active during rush hour periods.
Oh, okay.
So like from 3 to 7 or something going north on the 14 freeway, the carpool lane is active and enforceable. But otherwise, past those hours, anyone can ride in those lanes. Same thing coming southbound on the 14. The carpool lane exists during 5 a.m. to like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. And then coming down the rest of the time of the day, you can definitely be in a carpool lane without any problems almost the entirety.
Yeah. I like that. It when it's not rush hour, it kind of spreads the cars out, so you're not all bunched up in the, the 2 or 3 right lanes.
Yeah.
Everyone's using all the lanes equally. That's nice.
I would love it if down the road a new freeway gets built between, like, let's say the 605 and the 210 to cut through the mountains, the San Gabriel Mountains, up into the Palmdale area. and the Antelope Valley area, because that would be an alternative freeway. Because right now you just have to be on the 14 to get up to that area, or all the way to the 15. In either case, you're going around the big mountains. There's really no straight path.
What about the 2? The Angeles, I know it's not a freeway.
It sucks. I hate the 2 because it's like a race. It's like a race car route. You know, you got to be on your game because everybody is up your backside, you know, waiting to, you know, jump around you because you're too slow for them. You can be going 75, which is strong, curves and really dangerous, you know,
mountain roads
where there's a cliff and you can, you know, fall off easily.
And then you feel seasick, you know, by the time you're home.
You're totally like, your nerves are like, you've been white knuckling the steering wheel the whole time.
Yeah.
But for that reason, I don't like the 2 because it is too curvy, too wild, and lots of dangerous curves. And people are rushing you. You feel rushed.
Yeah, they're on that highway for a reason. They want to get there fast. Yeah, I don't like that as well. You know, if I had a motorcycle, I'd probably really like it. That'd probably be a fun ride because, you know, you could lean the bike over to the left and the ride on the left real quick. But when you're driving a car and you're trying to make those turns, it's hard on your car and your tires too.
Yeah, and then you're braking often, like you said.
Oh,
that encourages, if there's dust on the road or sand, you'll slide. So yeah, it's one of my least favorite rides is the 2 freeway. I've taken it, but every time I take it, I say, I'm not going to take that route anymore. Like that's the last time. But yeah, if they cut another freeway down the road and, you know, between the 14 and the 15, that would be a great access point to open up that area.
Yeah.
The northern.
That's a huge mountain to cut through.
Yeah.
You know, they should just run a 10-mile tunnel through the mountain rather than
That's
make
about
it
it.
Nice and straight.
Yeah. And get people in and out of there faster. That would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but we know it ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Not in our lifetime.
I could dream. You know what I was going to say about the carpool lanes, though? If you're visiting LA, you want to be very conscientious that some of the lanes are tight. And in order to provide a carpool lane, they had to really scrunch up all the lanes together to give you a margin that, you know, gave you enough space to ride in. But some of those carpool lanes are right up against the median wall.
Oh, yeah.
And worst part about some of those roads where Joe was talking about lifting your car and getting a little airtime is when you go over bridges, there's always a little bit of a leap up and your car could jump. And that's what he's talking about, where he doesn't want to lose his front wheels up on the air and then landing again. So you have to sort of watch your steering wheel. You got to anchor your elbow and hold the other part on your kneecap because your wheel is all you got to keep you straight, you know?
Yeah, that's right. You know, the carpool lane on some of these freeways, that used to be the emergency breakdown lane, right? But I guess they felt it was going away. So now you could drive in it. But yeah, it's right along the center divider.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're not paying attention, you can, you know, scrape your mirrors. Definitely wake you up, that's for sure. But, you know, sometimes you're just fiddling around with the, you know, radio, let's say, or looking off on a billboard sign, and you just end up drifting. And, it gets kind of scary. So you definitely got to focus your attention when you're riding in the carpool lane. That gives you very little room for error. Yeah.
Little margins. Exactly. But you should be fine. So please come by and check it all out.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a trivia question for you.
All right.
It's my turn to ask you a question that someone who's grown up in LA should know the answer to. Okay. All right.
All right.
So I don't think this one's that difficult, but along with our freeway theme, what is the longest freeway in Los Angeles County?
Ooh, the longest freeway in Los Angeles County. My first inclination was going to be the 405, but I realized that starts kind of further down in the county. I'm inclined to recognize that the 5 freeway has to be the longest freeway.
You got it. Yeah, the 5 freeway goes all the way from one county border to the other, from Orange County all the way north to, what's the next county up north?
Oh, that would be Kern.
Kern County? It is? It goes through Kern County?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bakersfield and all that area.
Yeah, I thought it was a 405 too, but it does stop right here in the valley.
Yep, at the top of the valley.
And actually, from my research on Google Maps, that's the only freeway that goes through the entire county. Mm-hmm. All other ones kind of start and end,
Yeah.
within the county.
And conversely, what's the shortest freeway in LA County?
Ooh, let me think about this. The shortest freeway.
And I'm only aware of that because I've always admired how short it is. It has a number.
I'm gonna say it's the 110 freeway.
Ooh, 110. I'm gonna say no.
No, there's a shorter one.
Shorter one. And it's in the valley.
Oh, it's got to be the 134?
Nope.
No?
Nope. 134 keeps going for a long while.
It does?
But,
that heads all the way to the 10.
Yeah, till you
Pasadena.
get to the 210.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
but even shorter than that.
Shorter than the 110. It's in the valley. Well, the valley only has so many freeways. So we got the 118, the 405, the 5, the 170, and the 210.
So the 170 starts where?
The 170 starts in Sun Valley.
And then ends where?
Downtown LA.
It ends at right where the 134 and the freeway intersect.
Oh.
So it's the shortest freeway. Because as soon as you get to the 134, it changes and you're no longer on the 170, you're now on the 101.
Oh, yeah. And that's part of the Seinfeld joke, how, how confusing it is. Yeah, I was on the 170 freeway. Now I'm on the 101. What just happened here? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll give you a little trivia question here.
Yeah.
What is the speed limit, on the 101 freeway there?
I mean,
we're talking from the 134 to downtown LA.
To downtown LA. It has to be 65.
That's what I thought my whole life, right? Just a few months ago, I'm driving, to work in the morning, and my GPS, I got a Garmin GPS, and it was saying, it lets you know when you're going over the speed limit, and the thing turns red when you're going over 65, right? Yeah. Well, it's like, 55. The thing is turning red, And I'm like, what's wrong with this thing? The speed limit has been 65 in California since Bill Clinton was president, He abolished that 55 mile an hour speed limit rule.
Yeah.
I said, this thing is messed up. Well, this was happening day after day. And I decided to see what the sign says. Yeah. And sure enough, the sign says speed limit 55 miles an hour.
Really?
I didn't know that.
The Cahuenga Pass is down to 55.
On the 101 freeway. And the signs are everywhere. It's funny. You drive by it every day and you don't even look at the sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm hauling ass at like 85.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the mornings, definitely. And I'm like, wow. A police officer, highway patrol could have pulled me over saying, son, boy, you're doing 60 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone. Yeah. And it's like, it's a total speed trap. But the signs are there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay attention to that because I take that same route to work as well. And I never noticed.
You'll see it too. Okay. I didn't even believe it.
Yeah.
It's like, did they forget to take that sign down?
Yes.
Back in 1992?
I know. It's been overlooked all these years. I know. I always notice a 55 for trucks and trailers towing. That's a reduce because you see people hauling boats and RVs and they're going way too fast if they're going 60.
Yeah.
Because then you see them fishtail. I've actually been behind people who've started fishtailing because they're going too fast. But that's amazing. I'm going to have to pay attention to that area now that I'm been made aware of it. That's
all right.
Good,
so we got some tips on the freeway system. We can't talk about everything within a 30-minute show, but if you'd like to know more about many of the freeways, and we haven't even talked about, not even 15% of the highways around here. But if you're interested, just let us know in the comments on either YouTube or our blog or our website. Or reach out to us. I'm Joe at thelosangeles.podcast.com or Jay at thelosangeles.podcast.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, in this Instagram LA segment, you had an idea to share something about Venice Beach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a cool place to take Instagram photos. Kind of iconic is the Venice canals. I guess this eccentric guy, maybe he was Italian or something,
Yeah.
took what was formerly just marshland and kind of carved out some canals and kind of envisioned it like Venice over there in Italy.
Hmm.
So you see a lot of those pictures on Instagram, and they're very cool. Check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll I need to head over there and take some photos myself and throw it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
By the way, we're at Instagram at the Los Angeles Podcast. Check out some of our photos that Joe and myself and Jay put up.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. If you happen to be in the neighborhood, I think it's worth checking out.
That's good. I've seen those canals, and they're very pretty. The houses that are surrounding them, and the decor, the bridges, and the woodwork, that they've invested to like make it look pedestrian friendly too, is really attractive. So yeah, it's worthwhile trip to take some pictures.
Yeah, but it's nothing like Venice in Italy.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a cute attempt.
Yeah, but it's still a nice area. Venice is a nice hipster type of area.
Yeah.
Expensive to live over there, being near the beach, but it's got a cool, very cool vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to bring up?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, then I think that wraps up our show for this week. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to check out our website and blogs for more info, and we'll see you all next week right here on the Los Angeles Podcast.